In this video, I'm going to explain to you 7 reasons why you should not start a podcast and an alternative that is actually going to get you in front of real investors. What's going on? My name is Matthew Baltzell, and I am the founder of CapX Media. I own a digital marketing agency that helps real estate investors attract more capital and deal flow and take down bigger deals. I've also had a top 400 business podcast called Real Estate Journeys that had 114 episodes. So I do know a little bit about what I'm talking about. There we go. So let's jump into it. Number 1. All right. First reason why you should not start a podcast is you think people will magically listen. You think that you'll just put it out there and overnight you'll start slowly acquiring hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of downloads. That's not how it works. You got to promote your podcast. And if you're not willing to do that, it's going to be very hard to be discovered. Podcasts are very hard to be discovered on. So if you're not willing to promote, it's going to be very hard. Number 2, you don't actually have time. People don't understand how much or how many moving parts actually go into a podcast. You got a schedule, right? You have reschedules, you have editing, you have technical difficulties, you have promotion, you have graphics, you have all sorts of stuff. If you're not willing to develop teams and systems with this, it's going to be quite time consuming and you're ultimately going to burn out and just waste your time, which you obviously don't want to do. Number 3, you think it'll make money. Now, a lot of people start a podcast because they're passionate about something and they think, okay, I could turn this passion into actual tangible dollars. But the sad reality is, like I said, it's very difficult to promote and get your podcast discovered. So do you have a service? Do you have a product, right? If you're starting a podcast around that, the ultimate end result should be using the podcast to funnel the listeners into your business or your service, right? If you're able to do that, it doesn't matter if you have 100 listeners and you're able to convert 2 to 3% of those listeners per episode into an actual tangible money in your bank account. That's what really matters, not vanity metrics. Number 4, you don't have an audience, right? Do you have distribution? Do you already have an audience? Do you have, if you have 100,000 followers on LinkedIn, well, that's going to be a lot more easier to get people to listen to. But if you don't have an audience on any other platforms and you don't have a newsletter, then getting people just to listen to your podcast from the jump, it's going to be very small. It's going to be friends, a couple family members. And after that, are they interested in real estate podcast? Are they investors, right? If they're not those two, they're not your ICP, it's going to be very hard to retain them as listeners that are going to want to be a part of your community. Number 5, you don't have consistent distribution, right? What's your schedule? What's your cadence? Are you going to post once a week? Are you going to do it twice a month? Are you going to do it quarterly? You're going to want to stick to a cadence that you can stick to. Typically, if you're going to start a podcast, I recommend at a bare minimum doing twice a month, which if you can't do that, then podcasting is kind of pointless, right? Number 6, you're allergic to editing. There's a lot of mistakes that go into the podcast, right? Long pauses, dropped internet connections. Is this going to be in person, right? There's even another more of a headache, right? You got to do scheduling. You have to show up. Now, there are pros and cons of doing it remotely versus in person. But overall, there's lots of editing that goes in. And podcasting is a very intimate experience. You have the earbuds on at the gym, right? If you have very bad audio, you're out right away. People can tolerate some low grain, old school, video, but if it's bad audio, forget it. People are going to leave right away. So editing is very key with the audio and the video. And lastly, number 7, you won't promote it, right? The best way to promote your podcast is to go on other people's podcasts and leverage their platform and get those listeners to come to listen to your podcast. So if you have a real estate investing podcast, the best way for people to know that you're on podcast or you have your own podcast is to go on other people's podcasts, right? There's a reason why when you're posting it, like I said before, if you're posting this onto Facebook, right? And you have 100 people on there that, whatever, from college buddies down to drinking buddies, right? Like If you have a real estate podcast, one, they have to be real estate investors. And then two, they have to be listening to podcasts. And so just throwing that up there on Facebook, odds are people aren't going to click on it and listen to the whole thing. But if you're on another real estate podcast, those people are already active listeners to podcasts and they're already interested in real estate investing. They hear your story, they like what you have to say, and then maybe they'll come over. But that's not a guarantee. So, what is the solution to all this, right? You think you want to start a podcast, you want to blow up your network, you think you need to have a platform, you need to have all these moving parts because people on the internet are telling you that that's what you need to do. Well, there's a much easier solution to this, and it's with guest podcasting. And I've seen this multiple times. I've had a podcasting. I've helped people over the last 5 years, real estate investors, raise more capital through guest podcasting. And I'm telling you, this works if you stick to the plan and make it consistent. It's not an overnight, but it will happen for you. So guest podcasting, it's 10 times faster, 10 times easier, and 10 times more effective. You go on other people's podcasts. You borrow and leverage other people's networks and their distribution. And people that are on seasoned, tenured podcasts, as far as hosts are concerned, they have great distribution. They'll give you the graphics. They'll give you everything. And then you just have to promote it to your audience. And then people, through osmosis, associate you with another podcast. Recently, I just heard I saw a YouTube video with Daniel Priestley, and he was on Diary of the CEO with Bartlett, James Bartlett, I think his name might be. I can't remember exactly. But anyways, he was on the Diary of CEO. And so he was saying that people from his audience already have been coming over to his funnel and seeing what he's all about. And now they associate the success of Diary of CEO with Daniel Priestley. So it does work, but you got to give it a little time. And through that time, you don't have to put up with all the headaches of guest podcasting. So if you're interested in learning more about guest podcasting and you're a real estate investor and you think that you can help raise more capital through easier solutions, click the link in the description and my team will reach out to you if we think it's a good fit. Talk soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.